Hello and welcome to this video. Here today I am going to bring you something very exciting, and that is an opportunity to become a homeowner without paying the amount that you are currently paying as a tenant. And there is a concept called house hacking, and this is very prevalent in real estate investors, especially the ones which are starting early in their career. And here I can give you some examples where I can exactly show you how you can become a house hacker and at the same time live in a property along with renting the other ones. So the house hacking term was coined by, I think, the founder of the Bigger Pockets, and the term is just very simple term. Here, instead of buying a single family home for living, you are basically buying a multi-family home. It could be a triplex or a quadplex, and again not more than four, because right now, I think last year, the Federal Housing Authority, they have allowed an individual buyer to buy up to 4 units using FHA loan or government backed loans. So that way you can become a homeowner along with an investor at the same time. And I'll give you 4 examples within the Triad area that you can consider for living in as well as investing and living for far less money that you can think about. So let me quickly go through some of the examples. All right, this first example is a property which is listed in Burlington, and they have not listed a lot of pictures because maybe they might have the tenant living here. But the good thing is this property is a duplex, and this is a single, it's not a mobile or manufactured house. This is a stick built property. And if you look into the details, they are saying that this is currently listed for $1838 per month, and the renter is in a month-to-month basis, and the other one is rented for $1,000 per month. So let's consider this particular unit is listed for or rented for $1,800, and this one is for $1,000. So as a buyer, if you come and purchase this property, you are basically giving 30-day notice to the month-to-month tenant to move out, because now you have become a homeowner, right? So if you have become a homeowner, you basically get to live in one of the units and you are renting out the other one. So from here, you're getting $1,800, and look into the breakdown of the cost, how much you're going to pay to remain as a homeowner, right? I've taken a very simple example. Here you are not coming up with more than 3.5%. This is the minimum FHA requires you to put up. But if you have more money, it's better to put more. But I'm considering you do not have that much. So in this case, you are putting down 3.5% with a 30-year fixed mortgage around 6.65. This may vary depending on the time you are applying for the loan. So total monthly mortgage is $1,900, and including the mortgage insurance, because this is less than 20% of your total down, and including the property taxes, home insurance, and everything, it comes to be $2,150, right? 2,148, which is just $2,050. And guess what? This guy is paying how much? Almost $1,850. So if you remove $1,850 out of $2,150, how much you are getting? $300, right? So basically you are going to live in this kind of house for just $300. Where in the world or where in North Carolina you are going to live in a property for $300 per month, given that it is like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,000 square feet? A normal property in North Carolina in this area, if you go for rent, and I can show you if you want to, it will rent out for almost $1,800 to $2,000. Again, this guy is paying $1,800, right? So $1,800 is the norm. So now you are basically living in a unit which could have been sold for, or which you could have rented out for $1,800. You are almost paying $300 and even less. Maybe next year when the lease is over, you can make it $1,900, right? Depending on whether you are going to get new tenant or the same tenant is willing to stay longer. You can renew the lease every year, and depending on the market demand and supply, you can ask for a higher rents. So this is, again, in a plain sight, I would say one of the best examples of house hacking for living for free. Even if you are like 8 years old, just came out of college, and you have saved up like 11, 12 or $15,000, that is a trigger point that you should think about it, right? Instead of staying in apartment and paying $1,500 for 2-bedroom property in apartment, just buy this. You have rent out to your friends or whoever you can find, and even if you want to share with others, you can share with others. And I'll give you one example where the property is an existing Airbnb. Just stay tuned. Okay, so in this example, you are not only living for $300, but it's a big house, like it's a 3-bedroom. So you can have roommates if you're single, right? You can have more roommates, and you can make it like a cash flowing. Instead of paying anything, you will end up in getting more for living for free. You are basically earning. So this is a first step to not only make you a homeowner but also an investor. And again, suppose you don't want to live here, you get bored out of it, you can move out after 2 years, right? You're not supposed to live for your whole life. After 2 years, you can go and you can get another house and you can rent this out completely and make this as a complete investment property, and your current loan will still continue here. So you don't have to worry about anything. Your loan will remain fixed, your monthly outflow will remain fixed. The only thing will change is your inflow, and that can change because you may charge a little higher the next year. So that way it is something, it's amazing. And suppose you have moved out after 2 years, guess what? 1800 plus 1800 is 3600. So what this will make you 3600, you remove this, it's almost like $1400 $1500 of a positive cash flow every month, right? Where will you get that? So this is in a plain sight an exact opportunity that you should not miss. Okay, all right, now let me move on to the another property. All right, let's look into this. So the one that we saw before is $280,000. This one is slightly lower. This is $250,000, and this seems to be a little older property as well in Burlington. And this one is vacant, and the other unit is rented for $1,550 per month, and they are living rent like in a month-to-month basis. So now, suppose you decide to go ahead and buy this property. Again, this is a duplex built in 1942, a little older house, but that's okay. If you see this is a brick house, so the exterior maintenance will not be that much. And if you look into some of the pictures, the property is okay. You don't need to spend any money to like fix it. It's already in a decent shape. The bedroom, bathroom, the pictures are not good, but again, this is not bad. You can just bring your stuff and you can start living. Again, one unit is anyway vacant, and the other one is paying how much? $1,500, right? So it was not even $1,550, so it's $1,550. Let's look at the cost breakdown. So just consider this one again, similar option that you are paying 3.5%, not 20%. I don't have 20%, so I've got 3.5%. It's total $8,746. Now you see that $1,800 per month with just 3.5%. Like if I have saved up almost $10,000 to $15,000, again I'm just considering a little bit on closing and the things that comes along with it. So with that much amount, you are going to own this house, live in one of the units, either this one or that one, and your monthly cost of living or owning this house is $1,860, and one of the tenant is paying you $1,550. How much is left? $310, right? So you are paying $310 to live in this kind of house, which is a duplex. I believe this is a 2-bed and 1 bath. This is a little smaller than the previous example. So still, like if you don't like Burlington, if you want to live in, or if you don't like this location, which is in Burlington, again, both are in Burlington, but Burlington has a strong rental population. They have like college students, and I've seen that they have a strong rental history. So consider that if you become a homeowner, or if you decided to buy this property for $250K, you are just paying almost $300 every month, not just to live, but also have a tenant that will pay you every month. And again, as I said before, the next month or the next year, you want to renew the lease, you can say, okay, look, I've got extra expenses, so let's move it to $1,650, right? And if you get tenants to pay you that much, you are basically reducing your cost. And at one point, it can just break even. So you're almost zero. And as I said before, if you're single, if you want to have roommates, you can definitely split your cost even further down. Okay, so this is another example of doing a house hacking for living almost for free once you have decided to take that route. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next property. All right, this property is a fourplex. I believe it's a triplex. Let's see. Yeah, this is a triplex. That means it has 3 units. It is being offered at $450,000. And I've done the math here. The thing is, one of the properties here, they are rented total for $3,685, and all of them are, I believe it's 1 bed. So if you divide it by 3, it's like $1,200 per unit. Now, suppose you buy this for $450, you live in one of the units, and you rent out the 2 of them. Right? Look into this. This is amazing. This does not need any work. You just come in, bring your stuff, and start living, right? And the tenant is going to pay the rent for the units they are living in. So suppose, same thing, you are putting 3.5%, because again, you don't want to pay more at this point. So it's $15,000, add $5,000 more for cost or everything else that goes along with real estate transactions. So suppose you have $20,000 lying around, and you're currently renting somewhere in Winston-Salem, and then you taken this decision to, okay, let's buy this property. And now once you bought this, your monthly expenses will be $3,483 depending on these calculations. Now we already discussed that the two will pay you almost $1,200. So both of the units total will be $2,400. So it leaves you $1,000 from your pocket to pay your monthly cost. So you basically will be living in this kind of house for $1,000 per month. Again, it's little more than we saw in the other case, but this one is like all you go. You don't have to deal with anything. It's all renovation led, like it's renovated, so you don't have to put anything or spend any more money to fix anything. So this is another example that here you basically end up in paying a little bit more, but still it's not a bad deal. You can still get this property and pay $1,000 and live in this house. And once you're bored, within 2 years, you can step out. You can rent out the third unit as well, and then you can buy somewhere else. All right, let's into this one. This one is in High Point. This is a duplex, and this is offered at $305,000. Again, they have reduced the price recently. If you look into the cost breakdown, same thing. If you put 3.5%, your total flow or total expenses will be $2,300 in 30 years. And I've seen that this unit is going to pay almost $1,200 or $1,500. That's where I think I saw. It's 2-bed, so 2-bed units are usually going for $1,200 to $1,500. So suppose if you have got $1,500 as a rent, then your total outflow will be like almost $800. So again, these two examples, the later ones that I showed you, is going to cost you a little bit more, but still much better than just living in an apartment and paying $1,500 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. You will become a homeowner, you will live in your own terms, and you don't have to worry about HOA or anything, right? You will have your neighbor as a tenant living next to you, so you can keep an eye on your property, take care of it, and live a life of being a homeowner. Also put a new step of becoming a real estate investor. So that's how you start building your portfolio. So after 2 years, once you're done with this, you find similar other opportunity, work with me. I help the single family homeowners, I help investors, I help first-time homeowners who really want to break through and become a homeowner, and even people who do not have excellent credit and they have some challenges with that. I help them as well to become a homeowner with different strategies that I have. So if you like this video, send me a note or comment on this video, or just like this video so that it will help others to at least reach this video. And I'm not just restricted to the Triad area. If you really want help in any other areas within North Carolina, I'm certified and licensed in North Carolina, so I can only help within North Carolina. But if you have anything, if you need any help, if you are in outside state or some other state also, I can give you some ideas, some suggestions, so you can take the best decision of your life. Again, thank you again for your time and watching this video and listening to this audio. I will be in touch if you reach out to me. Thanks again, and have a great rest of your day.